So today I'm going to be teaching a second grade class about how to make inferences using a text, and today our text is going to be Mama's Nightingale. It's a story of immigration and separation written by Edwidge Danticat, and his illustrations are by Leslie Staub. So since we're going to be covering inferences, does anyone recognize this word or part of this word? Yeah, we remember infer from learning it previously. Yeah, it is kind of like predicting, except predicting you're only using the author's writing. So you're actually only using what they tell you. So since you're only using what they tell you to predict, then you will find your answer in the text. But whenever we make inferences, we use our brains as well. We use our prior knowledge, and we apply our prior knowledge and what the author is saying. And we're trying to figure out what the author is not talking about. Trying to fill in those blanks in the story between what we know and what they know, so that way we can figure out what we don't know. So what are some other words for using our brain? Senses. So we can work on using our senses as we're reading. Maybe not touch and maybe not taste, but if they're using really good imagery, then you can definitely use those senses. Schema is another one. That was the first one I was looking for. Now, schema is our file folder in our head. So that's using all the knowledge that we learned in first grade, in kindergarten, earlier in second grade. And that's how we figure out the information that we know before. So what are some other parts of the text that we know? We know facts. And what else is in the text besides just the facts? There's other parts of it. That's right, images. So we have images and facts in the text, and that is what we use with our senses and our schema to help us infer about the text. So now whenever we infer, you don't just ask, oh, that is going to happen, because you're thinking, you're like, what am I going to do? I have my pictures and my text, and then I have what I knew already. So how am I going to figure it out? I wonder what's coming up next. So I wonder is a really good inferencing question that we have. So I'll go ahead and write it right here. I want you guys to go ahead and think of some other ones. Oh, I said one, didn't I? So we have I think. Get down here just a little bit. I'm going to write some inferencing questions instead of interesting questions. What are some other ones that you guys thought about? All right, so we have I think, I wonder, I predict. So you can go from one page and say, I think that he's going to wake up since he's already laying in bed. Or you can say, well, maybe this will happen because this happened on the last page. And whenever you use those kinds of words, that's when you're making inferences about the text. So now that we know we have our brain and our text, and we need that to make the inferences about it. So down here I can infer by using, that's right, with our brain. So I can infer by using what I already know. And what else do I need? I need the text. Yeah, so I need what the text says. Perfect. All right. Then we are going to use this very often. It's going to go up right in the front of our classroom while we're going through this unit. So that way we can reference it whenever we need to make more inferences. So today I'm going to scoot a little bit closer for you. I'm going to read Mama's Nightingale. When Mama first goes away, what I miss most is the sound of her voice. At night, while Papa's asleep, I sneak out of bed and listen to Mama's greeting on our answering machine. Tan pui ki bon ti now val pau now. Please leave us good news, is what it says. Now here is in their native language. The text hasn't told us what that is yet, but we can infer. So I think by the letters I know, I think it might be Spanish. What do you think? Spanish too? Okay. One night, I accidentally erased the greeting, and I can no longer hear Mama say those cheerful words that always make me feel so warm inside. A little bit closer, you can see it. We have no good news this time. For the last 3 months, Mama's been at Sunshine Correctional, a prison for women without papers. No, these aren't regular papers like whenever you write in your notebooks. These are papers that say that she is legal in the country. All right, but when I ask Papa, what kinds of papers does Mama need? Papers that say she belongs in this country, he says. Can Mama have my papers? I ask. She can't. When I ask Papa, when is Mama coming home? He says, you know, Saya, Mama loves you anpu very, very much. She'd never stay away too long if she could help it. Every night he makes dinner for us and helps me with my homework. Papa sits at the kitchen table and writes letters to the judges who send people without papers to jail. He also writes to our mayor and congresswoman and all the newspapers and television reporters he's ever heard of. No one ever writes him back. I want you guys to go ahead and see if you can come up with any of the any inferences that we can make with the beginning sentences that we've used. So he sends letters out to the mayor and the news reporters. Well, I think they might write back. It says no one ever writes him back. So I predict that they will, now that you can see that we have a lot more in this book. Some things might be changing. So let's go find out. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and look at this, then I'm going to read it out to you. They are hugging, but there's still some bars behind it. So from that image that we have, we can make another inference just by this photo, that they are still in jail. They're still at Sunshine Correctional. So Papa and I visit Mama every week. When she sees me, Mama runs to me, picks me up, and hugs me real tight. I miss you, Waiasol, Mama says while pretending to bite my cheeks. Waiasol is Mama's nickname for me. In Mama's Haitian stories, a Waiasol is a beautiful nightingale who loves the taste of a sweet cottony fruit called soursop, just like I do. The Waiasol also keep mean old witches from eating little children by distracting them with their beautiful song. This means like a very important bird. Did you catch up here? She says that Mama's Haitian stories. So the language that they were speaking, it wasn't Spanish, it was Haitian. Looks like our prediction was incorrect. Mama leans over and hums the Waiasol song in my ear. The melody is as soft as Mama's touch and as sweet as real soursop. When Mama stops humming, she asks me about school and whether Papa and I are taking good care of each other. I sit on her lap and breathe in the smell of coconut pomade in her hair as she and Papa talk. Gotta go, folks, one of the guards says when it's time to take me away. I kick and I scream and I beg to stay with her. Tears run down Mama's face as she is led away. The two guards on either side of her give me very stern looks. One of them tells Papa not to bring me again until I can behave myself. Now, do you guys predict that that's going to go very well? Now, do you predict that she is going to be able to go back? Do you think that she'll be able to control herself next time? I think she's going to have to, because she's going to have to see her Mama again. So in the car on the way home, I miss Mama so much my belly aches. I fall asleep and dream of the visit, except in my dream, Mama comes home and Papa comes home too. Okay, before we start reading here, you can go ahead and make some very easy inferences from this. So we see that she's opening up a letter, and it has a tape cassette with it. Cassette's kind of like a CD. Has her name on it, so that tape must be for her. And then over here, she's going to bed. Her dad's putting it in the tape player. So I wonder what's on that tape. A few days later, a package arrives in the mail from Mama. In the envelope is a letter for Papa, and from me, a cassette with a card that says, Yan Itzwa Dodo Pau Saya, a bedtime story for Saya. That night, Papa tucks me in, then puts his old tape recorder by my bed. Here we go. It's exactly like the one he brought to Mama when she was first taken to jail. He pushes the play button and tiptoes out of my room. What story do you think they're going to say? I was wondering, looking at, whenever we first looked at the cassette tape, I was wondering what story. It might be the Nightingale one. You were definitely right. Ooh, like she's having some very nice dreams. Suddenly the room is filled with Mama's wind chimes voice singing about the soursop and the nightingale. At the end of the song, Mama tells me a new bedtime story, one she made up herself. It's about a mommy nightingale who goes on a very long journey and is looking for a rainbow trail in the sky so she can return home to her baby nightingale. I close my eyes and imagine Mama lying next to me as she leans in to whisper the nightingale story in my ear. I imagine Mama tucking me in, kissing me goodnight, then going to sleep in the next room with Papa. The next time we visit Mama, I do my best not to cry, so she did get to go back. Good, good. I sit on her lap and kiss her whole face. I don't ask when she's coming home, because she doesn't know either. After a visit, a new tape with a new story arrives in the house every week. Sometimes the stories are as sad as melted ice cream. Other times they are as happy as a whole day at the beach. Here you can see lots of different pictures of ways that she can describe her dreams. So you can use these to infer that she dreams of the ocean with mermaids and dolphins. She also dreams of those nightingales and of the day and the night. Saya has some very good dreams. One day I sit next to Papa while he's writing one of his many long letters. We listen to Mama's voice together. When the room is quiet again, I ask Papa, when is Mama coming home? He looks like he's going to get angry, but then he bites his lower lip. You know, Saya, Mama loves you onpil, very, very much. He begins telling me, then just stops. He suddenly looks sadder than sad, as though Mama might never come home again. Papa, can I write letters too? I ask. Of course, he says. You can write your own story. I take Papa's advice, sit down, and I write my own story. What do you guys think her story is about? This is a great time that we can use some inferences, because the author really doesn't give us any part about what her story is going to be about, so we have to use our brains. What would a little girl with a mom in the prison, what kind of letter do you think she could write? She could write a story about telling her about her day. She could write a story about a nightingale, a baby nightingale talking to the mommy nightingale. But now I'll have to keep reading for the rest of the text to find out. When I am done, Papa sends what I have written to one of the newspaper reporters he's been writing to. A few days later, there is a message on our answering machine. The message is from a lady reporter saying that she wants to print my story in the newspaper for everyone to read. The next day, another reporter comes to our apartment to interview Papa and me for the television news. With a big lump in my throat, I tell her how much I miss Mom and how much I miss he could be with us again. Papa tells the television reporter how Mama was arrested by the immigration police while working in a restaurant, and how she might be sent back to Haiti at any time. Mama came to America before she met Papa and before I was even born. And she doesn't have the right papers. Not yet, anyway. So from that last little part, what can we infer about the rest? There's a lot of inferences in this text. She said not yet, anyway. Yet, that implies that there's something else to be coming. So she might be getting her papers. In a week's time, it's only 7 days. Because of all the phone calls and the letters to the prison from people who read about us in the newspaper and saw us on TV, Mama is brought before a judge. The judge says Mama can come home with Papa and me while she is waiting for her papers. Sitting in the courtroom with Papa, I'm so happy and proud. I feel like running up to the bench and giving the judge a big hug. Finally, Mama is home with us again. At bedtime, Mama asked me which of her stories I would most like to hear. I pick up my favorite one, the one about the mommy nightingale who skips over rainbows trying to get home. How does the story end? I ask Mama, even though I already know the answer. Think the answer is going to be the same? Find out. A smart and brave little nightingale helps her mommy find the right rainbow trail, Mama says, and the mommy follows it home. I like the way Mama's My Stories ends too. I like that it is our words that brought us together again. So here were some of our inferences from the beginning true. I know that toward the beginning we definitely did use some of the information to tell that she missed her mama and that she felt like she was going to do something about it when she wrote that letter. So as you could tell, our inferences changed throughout the story. And that happens whenever you read because you don't know everything from the beginning, but once you still use your brain and then the text that the author writes, that's whenever you can find out what the author is not saying by using those inferences. Thank you very much.